Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, and it's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Tuesday. That means we have good old Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. Then we'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. He'll talk a little Gator baseball, softball, spring sports for you. Baseball, by the way, plays JU tonight. I think they're ranked back sixth in America. Then they travel to Baton Rouge to face the LSU Tigers, who are fifth in America. And then softball plays tomorrow night down at Florida Gulf Coast, and then host Kentucky. They come in at ranked 10th in America right now. So in basketball, we'll find out tomorrow night, late tomorrow night, who the Gators will be playing on Friday afternoon at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time in the NCAA tournament. Let's go to the Titan Tomorrow hotline, and we are joined by Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to him on Facebook Live, YouTube, all that stuff. Late night talk show host, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How you doing, buddy?
Exactly 12 hours after you, Shane. Good morning to you. Yeah, I'm thinking Colorado in that one. That's be the justice. A lot of people are picking that for a possible upset, by the way, if Colorado gets in. What should not be Colorado? It might be, they won't make it. Boise will be there instead. But hey, listen, I rewatched the Auburn game last night after the show.
You watched it? Wow.
Yeah, well, my wife had it on. She did not know it was not live. So I watched, and I thought about at the end of that game. You remember how close it was. You forget they were 1 point ahead. They were 1 point ahead. And then they suddenly stopped making their foul shots. And guys should knock them down. I mean, their guards are just about perfect in the line. Missed just two, missed one-on-ones, and turned the ball over, something they haven't done too much. And I have a theory about what happens in that game. In the NBA, when you play 82 games, there's no theory about when your legs go, your shots stop falling. And something about that is true. It rung true to me last night to see. I guess it was pulling at the foul line, going 0 for 2. I mean, he was almost perfect. So that's one of many things that happened in that game. But listen, like Franz Beard wrote, it was one of those games that wasn't meant to be. Everything seemed to go wrong. Gators lost it, but I think they deserve a huge round of kudos for playing so great as they did. And what a tragic thing to see Micah Hendgloten go down like that and is out for the year. And hopefully he'll be back next year, but apparently really ripped up his ankle, broke it, surgery. He looks like he's okay. So fresh start. I'm going to have a new attitude, and I'm still kind of bullish on the Gators. And you are too, Shane.
I've been bullish on them for a long time. I have them in my bracket losing to Houston in the Elite Eight. So who knows what can happen. March Madness, there are going to be tons of upsets in this tournament. And if you want to participate in our bracket challenge, it's posted on Facebook and on YouTube. Fill out your brackets. The folks that run this program will let me know what the prizes are, but go fill out a couple of brackets and go from there. So, buddy, have you filled out your bracket?
I knew you'd be doing that to me this morning. You're punishing me. I don't do brackets anymore. That I gave it up after I kept losing to my family. My wife beat me 5 straight years, and I thought I'm just no good at this. But I did it for you. At least you'll get a Final Four. You'll get a Final Four, and I got a few teams I do like. I don't know if they're even in the same bracket or not. But obviously there's some teams that you dig down and get and things play that are going to be there probably. But I want to stick. I did my best. I came out with 4, and if I can find them, I'll give them to you. I'm liking UConn a whole lot, by the way, as a lot of people are.
You in the entire America.
I know it's chalk. It's chalk. I get it.
They're very good though. They're probably going to win it. I didn't pick them to win it, but I think Danny Hurley's a great coach. I think he's got a phenomenal team, and they're by far the best team overall in all of America. That doesn't mean they're going to win it though.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Yeah, I got Arizona in there, someplace, Kentucky in there, and I forget who about 14 is. But incidentally, update me on this. Are we not in an era where entire conferences are getting wiped out like the Big 12, right? I mean, like the Pac 12, right? I mean, conferences are getting wiped out completely. And I don't know if you saw the story or not, but a lot of people are whining about the fact that the Big East got so-called snubbed. Excuse me, folks. Remind me, is the Big East still playing? Do they still have a tournament? Do they still have a league? I guess they do. They were at one time, certainly did. But three teams got in: UConn, Marquette, and Creighton, I guess. And even Patino joined the rant, upset about the
Well,
fact that St. John's, Seton Hall, and Providence were so-called snubbed. I don't know, Shane. I
I
you
think they should. I personally think those three teams should have gotten in. I watch a lot of college basketball. They're
hmm
better than Clemson, who I don't know how Clemson got in. And there's some other teams that I don't know how Michigan State is in the field either. Um,
because of Tom Izzo. That's why.
yeah, but I don't give a damn. They're 14 and 11 or something like that,
Yeah,
buddy. They're
but they
not a
always
very
play
good.
good this time of year. I can see where
Well,
you go
that
with teams like that.
but you can't go on like what they've done in the past. It's like what have they done this year?
Well, what are they
Uh,
going to do?
well, they're four. I
Anyway,
think they were 14 and 11. They weren't very good. They
well,
didn't deserve to get in.
it's not very good. You got teams in there that I guess how many games did those big how much games did St. John's, Seton Hall, and Providence win? Probably 20 something, right?
Their records were a lot better than the
Yeah.
teams I just
But they
mentioned, and they're
but
better
do you think
basketball
they're
teams.
playing better competition than the Big East? I don't know. I don't know.
Big East is been very good in basketball for many
I
years.
know that. I'm aware of the fact that Big East tournament helped make basketball. I know the history and all that. But let's be honest. How many times did the words Big East pass our lips on this program? Not very often.
Well,
And
no,
they probably got a beef, but I mean, I'm not thinking, maybe that's my parochial thinking about Florida and other teams getting in, where I don't worry too much with the fact that Big East didn't get six teams in. I'm sorry, they don't deserve six teams.
yeah, Johnson had the Big 12 get 8 teams in. Their schedule wasn't hard. Iowa State had a non-conference schedule rank of 343. Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah,
they
but
do
Iowa
it
State
all.
had a big finish.
Well, they did, and they're a good basketball team. But the teams that got left out of the Big East, in my opinion, should have been in for sure. I think it was Brandon just asked, "How did my son enjoy Valspar yesterday?" Yeah, he
And what
caddied
was
for
that all
Kyle.
about? I saw him in a caddy outfit. What was going on there?
Well, he caddied for Trask in the pro am. Him and Trask are big buddies.
Are they?
Uh, yeah, and then he got to meet Baker Mayfield, who was his guy when he was playing in high school. He loved some Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
And Fred Biondi, who was the national champ here, came in the same year my son did. They were freshmen together. They're big friends too. So you got to see Fred yesterday. So it was a pretty good week, and he won a bunch of money in a fishing tournament on Sunday. So
Ah,
he had a pretty good weekend.
what is Luke doing these days?
He is graduating in May
hmm
and has a job making a lot of money already lined up out in north of Dallas.
Wow. Well, he
He's
can
got
host this. He
his
can
signing
host this
bonus.
next game.
His signing bonus was way more than the signing bonus I got when I signed as a free agent.
Good for Luke.
um, yeah, good
He's
for him.
smarter and better looking than you are.
That's very true. There's no question about that. So, John says, I think the SEC has to look at how they do the SEC tournament. Obviously, the committee doesn't care about how you do in the conference tournament. Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. I think the NCAA committee needs to do something about this. They need to either release the brackets at around 9 or 10 o'clock on Sunday night, or have all the tournament games finish on Saturday
Mm,
and then release the bracket on Sunday. Because
mm.
honestly, nothing changed. If the Gators had won the SEC tournament, I don't think they would have
Really?
moved
Well,
from the
they
seven line.
it
Tennessee
would have been
didn't move.
seven seed if they won.
Buddy, I mean,
You
you
may
look
be
at
right. I'm just thinking about it, but you may be right. Yeah,
no,
they
I mean
so
Kentucky lost in their own.
right.
They didn't win a game. Tennessee didn't win a game. South
hmm
Carolina, did they win a game? They may have won one game.
I think
None of those
one.
teams changed from what people thought they were
Yeah, the
going to
Gators
be.
didn't. I guess their big run didn't matter. You're right. They didn't give any respect. They beat those teams too. So at least once. Tennessee is the team that people are saying, "No, they're good. They're going to be great no matter. It doesn't matter." I don't know. When your star player doesn't dominate, which they didn't, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know much about March Madness. I know a little about the SEC.
Buddy, I'm gonna
And
make this very simple for you. March Madness, your brackets, do a bracket. It doesn't matter if the damn dog beats you. It's all luck involved. I will tell you this. I have Tennessee playing for the national title only
yeah,
because their roster is built for a tournament like this, and they have a dude that can win games for you.
do that.
Now, if they
Connect.
go out
Yeah,
and lay an egg like they did in the SEC, they'll
yeah,
be one and done or two and done. But I
yeah.
have them playing the Houston Cougars for the national title
Wow.
with Houston winning. So,
Well, I know that Florida is probably not going to be on people's lips now as a team, the wonder team, under the radar, etc., which they suddenly discovered Florida last week. A lot of people did. But my scenario on Florida is if they can stay out of foul trouble, which, by the way, last night, what happened to that team rewatching that game? God, they missed critical foul shots. They turned the ball over, something they never do. If they can keep Samuels and Condon out of foul trouble, now that they're down to 4 fouls, they don't have 5 fouls to give, which they did in hand gloating, but they can play more aggressively. They can't play quite as aggressively on defense without the big guy in there. So, I mean, if they dominate the offensive glass, which they have done all year, and hand gloat was other reasons, they can keep running. And when they're running, their guards can shine. Clayton and Pullen. They just don't turn the ball over, and they keep knocking down their foul shots. That's a formula that works in the March Madness. You know that, Shane. So there's a lot going on, but the big guy is going to be missed. I'm sorry, you can't be as aggressive as you could with that many fouls to give in the post.
well, he's going to be missed. I mean, he's not a scorer. Like I said, he was averaging 2 points, and about
Shot
seven.
blocker, rim
Yeah,
defender.
but I think I don't think we're gonna miss a beat. I firmly believe that we're deep at that position. Um, I think Florida is going to make a run in this tournament and not miss a beat. I'm not being a homer. I just watch this team play, and I just think they're very good. Very
You've
good. We
said
got
that
a
all
text.
year. In fairness to you, you've been saying that, and you've been correct so far. But when you get tired legs, which they have had playing
Right.
4 games, your shot's off, everything's off, and
Yeah.
and,
I
and
mean,
that game wasn't meant to be won. And Auburn, by the way, I said last night on my show, Bruce Pearl wants to turn into the WWE. He believes in a foul every time down the court, and when you bang on a tired team like Florida, it has a residual impact. What they got to do is hope that extra day. At least they didn't get a Thursday game, which is really big for them right now. That extra day, they needed that real bad.
live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. We got Buddy Martin on the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Got a text here from William in Mobile, Alabama. He says, Shane, why do you think Kugel isn't playing? Your honest opinion, please.
Great question. Great question.
I don't know. I gave my explanation yesterday on the program. I have no inside information. All I can say is, and he may play a lot in the tournament. I don't know. I'm just going by production. Okay. Yes, I know he's had some bright moments in his career. And I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said it's very similar to Brenton Cox. Remember Brenton Cox? All this
Yeah,
notoriety about
right,
him,
right.
and he never played up to his potential. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm pulling for Riley Kugel. If he plays, I hope he plays his ass off and helps us win games. But when he's on the court, this team is not the same basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact when you watch the games.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason he's not playing, like I said, I don't know, but I've been in locker rooms for many, many years. I've been in practices. The eye in the sky don't lie, meaning the tape.
Eye in the sky, no lie. I like that. You need to have a T-shirt made that says
No,
that.
that's just a saying in the NFL.
Well,
The
we
eye
can
in the
use it.
sky
Well,
don't
I like
lie.
it. Let's put it on a
So-
T-shirt. You work for
So
T-shirts.
when you're watching tape from practice
Mhm.
and you continue seeing a guy not performing at a high level and making mistakes or not giving great effort, whatever it is, if the players see that, the players know that, and you lose credibility as a coach if you continue playing that person, regardless of who it is. Like I said, I have no inside information. I don't know what's going on. That's what it just seems like to me. Now, again, he may play 20 minutes in the next game, but I mean, somebody's going to have to tell me when he's played well. I know he played well, I think, against Auburn earlier in the year, but I
He's a
don't
big,
need,
one big scoring night.
I don't need flashes. I need consistency, and that's why I personally don't think he's playing. So
But you've
I could
been
be
saying
wrong.
that the whole time because I've always liked Riley Cook. You know that one
Yeah,
of
I
my
have
favorite
nothing
players.
against him, but he's
Again,
not a
I hear
great
you. I hear
basketball
you.
player.
I'm agreeing with you, Shane. I'm not disagreeing with you because he's too much a one-on-one player. He decides to play. He takes shots that he shouldn't take. He makes tries. I love the fact he's aggressive. He just doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of those players. And he's a terrific passer. Sometimes he makes stupid passes. He can knock down threes when he's hot, but he's not often hot. He tries to dribble the basketball sometimes a little too much, but he's got a world of potential. But he does not deserve to be in the lineup. And I'm a big Ronnie Kugel fan. I like him. I like to watch him play. But when you compare him to what Pullen's doing and Clayton's doing, and those other guys, they take care of the basketball. They got to value the basketball. And Riley has got a good game on defense when he's motivated. I'm sorry he's not. He may have to play for them to get much past that first round.
Well, he might, but he may not. I mean, this team's won a lot of games without him. And like I said, this is nothing against Riley Cooper. We talk sports on here, and my eyes tell me that he is not one of the better players to be in the rotation.
Didn't get off the bench 2 weeks ago. I mean, 2 games ago, didn't play a lick.
Yeah. Dan says Aberdeen's getting hot. He's more of an X factor than Cooper. I agree. I mean,
wow.
He's played smart. He's made plays. He's knocked down shots. It's called producing.
First man off the bench, Aberdeen.
You will play. I don't care what the talent is like. If you can't produce, you cannot play. And that's why I talk about the eye in the sky doesn't lie. Like I said, he may play 20, 25 minutes in the first tournament game and do great. And I hope he does. But I'm just stating
Shane,
the facts.
where are you from again?
Where
are you from again?
Mississippi.
Yeah, right. My good friends from Mississippi taught me how to talk Mississippi talk. I got two great friends that live in Collins. You know where Collins is?
Collins, Mississippi?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, they told me a long time ago, this is how you talk Mississippi. When you say, it's a nice night for a knife fight. That's how you talk. And that sounds like when you say that, the eye in the sky don't lie. That's Mississippi talk.
Yep.
I like
eye
it.
in the sky don't lie. You can sit here and talk about all you want, but the film, you can sit there and rewind and say, buddy, you did not block that damn defensive end. I don't care what you say. You did not take the proper steps and you did not get it done. So you are not playing.
Well, here's the thing, Shane. If you don't play well in a tournament, you're not going to advance in the tournament, right?
Yep.
The tournament.
Yeah.
How you spell that? Tournament. Tournament.
No, that's a northern thing. It's a tournament.
Like compare that to eye in the sky don't lie in tournament. That doesn't go together.
Yeah. Rod on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says transfer portal's open now. Kugel's probably gone. So, like I tried to tell somebody, maybe it was your show last night, buddy. Our entire starting five came from the transfer portal.
You did. You told who'd you tell that to? Was it Rob? You talked to Rob.
So Rod, I'm telling you, who cares? Todd Gold and his staff will go find plenty of players. Like I said, every player that has been an impact for the Gators this year came from the transfer portal. Only two are right out of high school. That is Houck and Aberdeen. The kid from Australia, Condon.
How about Aberdeen?
That's Aberdeen. This is his second year. He's a recruit. Yeah. This is his second year.
2 years, yeah.
Guy says it's been a long time since we've been at the tournament now. We're forgetting how to spell it. Go Gators. Let's make some noise.
Who said that?
Guy on Facebook Live, brought to you by
You're right.
Weldon Law.
Tournaments. I'll start saying tournament.
Okay, this is a text on the Titan our text line from Todd in Sarasota. He says, Shane, I've heard you say that you think this is the best backcourt UF has ever had. Why do you think that? I mean, that's up for debate. I became a Gator in '88, and there have been a lot of good guards, a lot of good backcourts that have won national titles, gone to Final Fours. I'd take this two over all of them. And the reason I say that is because I think Pullen is a premier point guard, and I think Clayton is a tremendous shooter,
Big
but he can
shot guy.
score. He is a scorer.
Hmm.
Nothing against Lee Humphrey, who does a fine job as the analyst with
Spot up
Sean
shooter.
Kelly.
He's a spot up shooter.
But he's just a shooter. This
That's
damn
right.
Walter Clayton is so athletic and in
physical.
slow motion and makes plays. So that's why I lean towards this two.
I'm with you,
the
Shane.
best that
And
I've
here's
seen.
the difference. I've seen them all. Okay. I've seen them all way back. And I'm not a great evaluator of basketball, but you got to remember, not only do they play good defense and take care of the basketball, they can knock it down from anywhere, and they are both scorers. How often do you have a backcourt where they're both scorers, and they are? So I don't think it's. I can't think of any team I can think of that had two players like this, two guards.
Yeah, I really like them. Joseph has a question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. Says, buddy, do you think Todd Golden has given Scott Strickland a little breathing room?
Yes, and he needed it. Yes, he has, because we're all thinking the same thing. Well, is Strickland going to strike out again? We don't think so. Now everybody says, well, I knew he was going to be a great coach. He got hired. Well, no, you didn't. And he still had to prove he could do it, and he has. And it turns out to have been not just a good hire, but perhaps a brilliant hire. I'm not really to build a statue to him. He's not Billy Donovan, but boy, he's been impressive. What I really like about him is he's first of all, he's smart. Secondly, he gets the right guys on the court, and he's taught his team now how to win. They were having a problem with that earlier in the year by finishing games. He coaches them through those tough spots, and he seems to pay. How do you pull a guy like Denzel Aberdeen out of nowhere? I mean, another kid's been a good promising. He came out of nowhere and had a game like a big star. So he's a terrific coach. They do have a lot of coaches over there, don't they? Man, oh man, everybody's got
4 or 5. That's about what everybody
4 or
has
5. Looks
nowadays.
like a whole football staff would be there. Be like 10 if you count the back row of these kids are there. But it's so many. But anyway, the fact is, yes, I think Golden has been nothing short of brilliant. He still has some work to do, Howard.
Yeah, a guy says Golden has a great IQ for the game. Yeah, man, he's really good at drawing up stuff. He and his staff, and
He is.
he's a bright young coach. And I mean, look, I know people were down last year, but he went out and got, like I said, every flipping player we have that is an impact has come from the transfer portal this year, and they'll continue doing that next year.
He did what Wade did when it wasn't legal. And by the way, you know where Wade's coaching now? McNeese State.
Yeah, look out for them.
Yeah, really.
Rod says, question on YouTube brought to you by Quad Pullman. Do we consider kids that transfer to a school that has transferred 3 or 4 times and consider them Gators, or guys that has been in the program 3 or more? I don't know what you do nowadays. The kid from Auburn, the left-hander that has the 2 names, Baker Lazar or whatever his name is.
He's a bizarre guy. That's it.
Well, Coach, this is his 5th year. He's played for 5 different
I know.
teams.
And he's a little cheap shot artist too. You watch him. He really bump guys and try to get them off their game when the balls the plays stop. You watch him, little things he does. He's a con man.
I think, to Rod's question, I mean, obviously we rented some of these players for this year. I think you'll have Walter Clayton Jr. back next year.
Pullen graduates. You got Aberdeen back.
Yeah, but Clayton probably.
Brilliant.
I think Clayton wanted to be a Gator, but nobody recruited him. Remember, he went to Iona.
Well, remember, too, he was a football player. He could have played football in Florida.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Guy says, how do y'all feel about the matchup on Friday? I don't care which team they play. I think they're better, and I think they win. So that's simple. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. A few more minutes.
Do I get to answer that question?
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Why are you concerned?
Because it's hard to pick that kind of moment. The intensity they play with is something was rare. And when you got a team that's played that many games and you got banged up and you played Auburn, don't forget. It's like playing LSU.
We have a state-of-the-art training.
Well, let me finish my
facility.
thought and you can comment. I'm just saying, I understand the reasons you gave. It's fine. I'm giving mine. If they're not physically too beat up, and, they did draw an afternoon game time, I hear. That's what will be
4:30. 4:30.
Yes. So they're not going to have to worry about playing a late night game, which is good. I like their chances, but to be honest with you, how do we know who they're playing against? We don't yet. So it's hard
I
to
don't
assess
care.
the matchups. Well, Shane, you do care because you told me, and I agree, it's all about the matchups. Do you
Well,
know
it
how they
is. And I
match up
think
with Colorado? I don't know.
Colorado, I think if I'm not mistaken, likes to get up and down the floor.
I saw
Bring
him
it on.
play. They got
Bring it
one big
on. We
guy in
can
the
get up
middle.
and down the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you got to remember, we're going to be more rested than the team that wins this game. They're
That's
playing
true.
tomorrow.
That
They're
is
playing
true.
late tomorrow night, and they have to play an afternoon game on
Well,
Friday.
rest,
So
that's not bad. When you play 4 nights in a row, that's bad.
no, we got plenty of ice tubs and massage therapists and
All
all that
right.
stuff.
All right.
So we
When's
want
the first time
we
you ever saw ice in a locker room?
huh?
What's the first time you ever saw ice used for therapies in a locker room?
Well, I saw that growing
I
up as
know,
a kid when I was running
but they didn't
around
have it.
as the
They didn't
ball boy
have
for
it
my dad.
right. And in your dad's era, even. But I can tell you, the first time I saw it ever was Sandy Koufax. Remember that name? He iced his arm down all the time. That was unheard of in the '60s. And what a factor ice has become now. It's just a little historical note there for you, Shane, just to tell you what happened. All the sports did not start in 1989 with the ESPN.
Okay. All right. Greg says, I'm sure we can create well, it went away. I don't know what's wrong with Facebook. It goes too fast here. Um, I'm going to read Van Der's comment here. We blocked him from Facebook Live, but he's on YouTube now. And he says, my comment sometimes I make an academic statement, we hear it and run off and say Shane said Kugel is not worth a crap, and that is not really what he stated. No, I didn't say that. I never said it. I think, look, he's like multiple athletes that play college basketball, highly recruited, but he hasn't lived up to the billing. And as I said, if he plays Friday, I hope he plays his ass off and helps us win games. But he's not played well enough to get on the court, in my opinion. And I don't know if that's what Ty Golden thinks or not, but
Well,
who
obviously he
knows?
does because 2 weeks ago and 2 games ago he didn't play a leg.
Well, we
Van
don't
Van
know. We don't know. It could have been something else. We don't have any inside
Well, we
information.
played. Well, we came back. Anyway, that's true. But I can tell you just my eye test. The eye in the sky don't lie. Thank you very much. I knew that about Kugel, and I'm a Kugel fan. He didn't deserve to be on the court because he didn't fit with the other ones. It's like that old Sesame Street game. Which one of these is not like the others? Riley's not playing like those top 5 or 6 guys. Would you put him ahead of Aberdeen? No, you would not. And Aberdeen, of course, doesn't play the same position necessarily. But anyway, the point is, I understand he's not playing the kind of basketball that Todd Golden wants, and maybe he'll get off the bench, and maybe he'll get buried. I don't know. I hope he doesn't, because I've always liked Riley. I told him last year when I met him, I like the way you play. I enjoy you more than anybody else on the team, and I did, but not the way he's playing right now.
Yep, for sure. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry, Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go visit them at peachlanddental.com. All right, buddy, real quick before we get to Scott Carter, the Players Championship, they go to Valspar this week.
Yeah.
I love the Players Championship. I'm a little disappointed. The scoring was so easy. They had 58 something Eagles in one tournament is just ridiculous. Did you watch any of the golf?
Watched it all. I'm going to tell you what you're forgetting about. The wind conditions, the conditions were ideal.
Yeah.
It's much like St. Andrews when the year they just tore that up, but there was no wind. When you don't have wind, players, the Sawgrass is it's a different place. You played it before. I've been to about 20 of those things. I've played that golf course a number of times. When the wind is blowing, you don't have to be off but about 2 feet. You can be in jail. So it looked a lot easier than it is. I don't think they needed to trick it up. They drew the rough some. I don't want to see them go out there and break a neck, break a leg, break an arm. But it's a beautiful golf course. The setting looks great. I love the fact it's back where it belongs. Shane, my whole life got changed when they moved it from March to May. By the way, the only guy that won both March and May is who? Great trivia question for you.
Scotty Scheffler.
No, March
Seems
and
like
May.
he wins everywhere he
It
plays.
doesn't matter what month it's for him. Tiger Woods, the only guy that went in March and May. He brags about that. So it's a little bit windier usually in March. Didn't get that wind. And so it becomes the golf course is there for the taking. So
Yes, it was. There is no question about that. Gosh, I just saw. Oh, somebody asked me what two seed do I think can make the Final Four? I think Tennessee can. Iowa State's a very good two seed, but I think they're
They
matched
are.
up with UConn in that bracket.
Yeah.
So I got Tennessee going to the Final Four. As much as I hate it, I think their team with Dalton Connect can really make some noise.
Which team's going to
Uh,
show up? I would think if they played like they did, yes. I'm not sure they will. Right now, I don't know. I just saying no. I don't have a Kentucky. I tell you why I like Kentucky. They have five guys in double figures, five averaging. They can score, obviously. And I think they can. I think Cal's going to have them play in the right time. I believe they'll be a Final Four team. Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yep.
I like Kentucky. I'm a huge Reed Shepherd and Dillingham
Reed
fan.
Shepherd got knocked the eyes out of it when he
You know, I
signed.
can't wait to see how much money Reed Shepherd
Hmm.
gets next year to stay at
Yeah.
Kentucky. Now, because he would be a lottery pick,
Yeah.
but I think with his mom and dad both playing basketball at Kentucky,
Hmm.
I
Oh,
think
I didn't know that. That's a good little note. Yeah.
his dad was a stud and his mom is like one of the top scorers ever at Kentucky. I
Huh.
just think the Big Blue Nation's going to throw money at him,
They got
and
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. John says Kentucky going to eliminate Florida? That's who we're probably going to be matched up with if we get through Marquette. And then people got to remember Marquette is playing without their best player, who I believe was the Big East Player of the Year last year. He's the
Hmm.
point guard, little
Hmm.
white dude. I don't know if he's healthy enough to play this week. He'll probably be ready to play against us. Who
Hey, Shane, I'm
knows?
going to make an observation. I don't want this to be racist. Help me out, Van Der. You're good about this, but I just hadn't thought about it. But because I don't see what color of guys are on the court, but I did notice that Campbell, Florida has three white dudes on the court. And how many teams have that? Now, I wouldn't matter to me. I have some friends who might, but
Wisconsin does.
do they? Well, Wisconsin's always got three
Creighton,
white dudes.
Creighton
Creighton
as
does.
well. Yeah.
But I mean, not
Real
just
quick,
three white dudes, but good players. I mean, really
yeah.
good players.
Let's get to this day in sports. Brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Buddy, you may remember this. 1966, the 28th NCAA basketball championship game. Texas Western beats Kentucky
Yep.
72-65 as the Miners' first title in the first title game.
Yep.
Speaking of that, Texas Western is now called UTEP.
Yep.
They were all blacks versus
Yes.
all the whites from Kentucky, right?
Yes. I do remember that quite well. It was quite a story back then. And that was an amazing, first of all, just to forget the colors, but UTEP beating Kentucky, period. But yeah, the whole color thing was a big story in 66. By the way, it's about the same era. If you remember, there's a book out called The Missing Ring on Alabama football. It's about that Bryant team that didn't win the national championship, although they were undefeated, because the national writers voted on it. And most of them thought Alabama was a racist program. And they did not get that championship. It was not voted on. So it's a whole different thing. But yeah, I know it's a huge story. And race has always been and will continue to be a story in sports. I think it's going to become a fact now. Just the fact that I can make a notation that I didn't notice those three white dudes on the court. I guess we all kind of grown up a little bit about that, and I'm glad.
All right, buddy. We got to get to Scott Carter. Have a great day, my man. Appreciate your
All
time.
right, Shane, thank you.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out. Get your questions ready for Scott Carter. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Comfort Temp, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okito America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and it's the one and the only Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Good morning, Scott. How you doing?
Morning, Shane. Busy week, man, in Gator country this week. All kinds of stuff going on. So just trying to get my arms around some of it.
Yeah, let's talk a little spring sports, because that's kind of what you're focused on right now. Obviously, we still have basketball going on, but Gator baseball takes 2 out of 3 against the Aggies. Just your thoughts on that series.
I thought it was a big series for Florida where they were coming in. You know, you had Texas A&M coming in undefeated. And obviously, Florida was coming off that midweek loss to Florida State. So they wanted to, kind of right the ship a little bit. And there's been a lot of questions about the pitching. And I still think it's still a work in progress. But I think they've at least got some good performances over the weekend, especially from Brandon Neely and Jack Caglione to allow them to take 2 out of 3 over Texas A&M. Like I said, a team that came in 17-0. So a good start in SEC play for the Gators. And now they just need to start duplicating that. I mean, if you can take 2 out of 3 in every SEC series, you're going to be right there pretty much in the hunt for the conference championship because it's such a difficult league. But it's going to get tougher as they go on the road some. But again, I think they passed their first test in the SEC.
Well, yeah, I mean the goal is to win the series. If you get a sweep, that's great. But boy, you head to Baton Rouge. LSU's ranked 5th in America. They're coming off losing a series to Mississippi State, who is not what Mississippi State has been in the past. So it'll be tough. It'll be tough. So hopefully we can. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I just don't want to get swept in Baton Rouge, and I think it'll be a good weekend.
When you go out there winning. If you can get a game, that's great. And obviously, we know this rivalry, Shane. I mean, these two teams met last year for the College World Series championship. Didn't end the Gators' way. LSU has such a great home field advantage there in Baton Rouge. So it's going to be a big challenge. But, you got Jack Caglione starting one of the games. He's been pitching really well. The offense has been productive overall. If they can just get some of those other younger guys and get some strong performance. I think Cade Fisher, if he can really get going, he did a good 6 innings against A&M and gave up 6 runs, but if he can just extend his outing some and maybe, shorten the runs allowed some, that's going to be a good sign for Florida. But if they win 2 out of 3 at LSU, a huge weekend for the Gators.
Yeah. I think pitching, and I talked about this the other, pitching in college baseball now is very difficult
Yeah.
because of the bats, the balls, and pitching at Condren Ballpark, that place is a launching pad. I mean, pop-ups go out of the ballpark there. Why
Yeah.
is that?
It's really it is a hitter's park. The ball carries there. I think, you talk about why balls carry in some places. I think one thing probably helps over there. It's sitting on, we got to remember that was just a empty field. Uh, there was not a lot built up around that place. So anything that's up in the wind, it's going to go out. And I just think they also have a pretty darn good lineup. And these, like you said, the pitchers, it's hard, man. I mean, pitching is very hard in college, and they've changed the bats and balls. Changed. Remember how it used to be, man? They used to call it gorilla ball, where it was like softball, 18 to 14 games. They've done a good job with the technology to make it more like baseball. But well, for whatever reason, Condon Ballpark is a hitter's park.
Yes, it is. Softball is just chugging along. They're ranked, I think, 10th in America. Uh, Took a series in Tuscaloosa, which does not happen very, very often. They had the week off from SEC play, which was kind of strange to me. Welcome Kentucky back in this weekend, who's a very good SEC program. But man, it's a different team knowing you got girls that can throw strikes and get people out.
Yeah, it is, and that's why they're having early success with the young pitching, Brown, and I mean that's what Tim Walton, has talked about really for the last 3 or 4 years. They've got to get some of those top shelf arms back, and I think he's done that with the two freshmen, and they've got a veteran lineup around them, and it's amazing, man, how softball is one of those sports that, man, their fan base is so diehard, and I mean he's got such a good thing over there working. So I think, if you can get a couple of pitchers in there like they have now, it can take you all the way. I just thought, it's going to be a whole different stage, obviously, as the season progresses and as they get deeper into the SEC. Because again, like the baseball team, a lot of these players haven't been through that grind yet. But you got to like what they've done in the early season and going up to Alabama, winning 2 out of 3, and yeah, they look to me like they're primed for a chance to do something special late in the season, but we'll see. It's still early, but yeah, doing what Tim Walton, I think they're playing more like what he wants.
Yeah, for sure. Give us an update on lacrosse is playing really well right now, but swimming and diving, which I feel like it lasts all year long. They never get a break. They're in some kind of championships now, right?
Yeah, they're at the NCAA. It's up in Athens. The women are up there this week, the men next week, and that's why you never. It's like hockey, Shane. You don't ever see any fast swimmers, man, because they work out all the time. They don't have time to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos, man. So, but yeah, it does seem like the season does run forever. But they're up. They split them up. So Anthony Nesty's going to be up in Athens for the next 2 weeks, seeing what they can do. I don't know if the team, I think the men have a better chance, but again, I think they're realistically looking at top 3 to 5 finish nationally on both sides. It's just one of those programs that they're always there. They always have athletes who are in competition for the finals and for national championships. And of course, I think we may have talked about it recently where Anthony Nesty, we know what his summers get ready to be like. So you're going to hear a lot about Anthony Nesty and swimming over the next 3-4 months.
Patrick on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, I'll take Maxwell and Moten over our current, even though I think we'd be free, would be something with Zion or really, Clayton and Zion are really great. I said, I feel like our backcourt's the best I've seen since I've been here. Maxwell and Moten was a little bit before my time. But yeah, I know all about them, but I love our backcourt right now. Text on the Titan More text line from Josh, Mississippi says, Scott, are there any new news behind the scenes or updates coming out of spring football? Like, has anyone surprised the staff, etc.?
No, I think it's a little early because remember they had 2 practices and they broke for a week. So today is really they're getting back out there for their, I think, 3rd official practice. I think the biggest, we didn't see much obviously before they broke. I just think the biggest thing is just getting a look at these guys. I mean, it's the first time for the coaches too to get a look at them in their environment where they're gonna grade them in a whole different way than these guys have ever been graded before. So it's really a learning process right now, I think, for everybody, for the players, for the coaches, for the new staff. But as I think this week is going to be one of those weeks where you might start hearing a little bit more about guys. I mean, obviously Ron Roberts last week talked about a guy like Miles Graham. He looks the part right away. And that's why he's at Florida. That's the kind of guys they need. I mean, you've got to have those guys, and we talked about how you need. I think they need 8, 9, 10 of these freshmen to come in and do something right away. I mean, that's where they are as a program, and they need some production from this class to turn it around.
Yeah, it's very simple, Scott. We need dudes that can tackle and rush the passer.
Yeah,
I mean, if you do that, this team, it changes the whole outcome of your season.
yeah,
Tackle and rush the passer.
yes, I think they could win a lot of games with the offense that they put up last year if the defense is 50% better. I mean, I think it's a defensive situation right now. I mean, the offense still can improve, but I don't look at the offense as a problem right now.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. We got Scott Carter for a few more minutes from FloridaGators.com. Somebody asked a few minutes ago, what's your favorite spring sport to cover? I think I know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna say baseball. I've been to Omaha with these guys 7 times, and hopefully get out there at 8. But I've always been a baseball fan. I love baseball, and the whole Condon Ballpark we were talking about earlier, Shane. I mean, to me, that just changed the whole dynamic of the program. A lot of great memories at McKeithen Stadium, but Condon Ballpark is just a really nice baseball park. You can go around Florida to all these spring training sites right now, and Condon Ballpark would match up well with about all of them. And, that means a lot. I think that's why you're seeing increased attendance. People like getting out there, and they got a good product. So yeah, I enjoy always being at the ballpark, man.
Dan's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Scott, will Peyton Richards be available for the SEC gymnastics tournament?
That is the hope. I was checking on that yesterday. I thought she was going to compete in that last home meet, but she backed off. So they're hoping that she can do something out in New Orleans this week. That would give them a boost, obviously, more. I mean, from a competitive standpoint, also from a mental standpoint, just an emotional boost. But I think they'll do well out there regardless. But, if Peyton can come back, she's an important performer for them. On the floor, especially, and we'll see. I think that is the hope of.
What was her injury? Did they ever? I never heard.
Yeah, I never. It was some kind of leg, ankle. They never really. They didn't give a. I think when it first happened, I thought it was going to be an Achilles or something. So
Yeah.
fortunately, it was not that. So she has worked through it, and hopefully she can get back. As a 6-year senior. I think, who was it? There had another athlete a couple years ago who had to sit out down the stretch because of injury. You always hate to see that in any sport,
The women's basketball team, I believe, is hosting in the NIT tournament, which I think that's pretty big for Kelly Ray Finley's team. Obviously, she's got 2 McDonald's All-Americans coming into the program next year. They've gotten better. I mean, I think when the conference you play in and you see where South Carolina is, it's kind of hard to gauge. But don't you think they've gotten better the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean they've improved the talent on the roster. I think they had that great run when Kelly Ray took over a couple of years ago, and they made the NCAA tournament, and expectations kind of got higher, and then of course they had some injuries, some departures, and now she's rebuilding the roster with some really talented players like Layla Reynolds, McDonald's All-American. They have a couple more, Liv McGill coming in, so. She's building some talent. It's just a matter of, in this day and age of college sports, keeping them around for a while and letting them gel and see what they can be. But, getting back to the postseasons, obviously important. We'll see what they can do. They do open Thursday night at home And then if they win, maybe they'll go on the road or get another one. I'm not for sure how that schedule works, but I do know that they made a strong showing up in Greenville in the SEC tournament, and I think they needed that. And they came together to me as a little better as a team. I watched those games and I thought they were playing some of their best ball of the season in that tournament. So if they can keep that going, they can make a run in this WBIT. But we'll see. But I do like some of the pieces that she's putting together.
Yeah, Daniel says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, the football team should learn from the basketball team about using the transfer portal to help with talent on the team. Well, I would say some of our better players in the last couple of years have come from the transfer portal. So we'll leave
Yeah,
it at that.
transfer portal is definitely always going to be a factor now. You cannot ignore it. But I also still believe you gotta build with your freshmen and make that the foundation of the program. But I love what Todd Golden's done. I think in basketball, you can get one or two transfers and change everything. You can go from a 14-win team to a 25-win team in a quick couple of transfers in
Scott,
basketball.
our entire team came from the transfer portal.
Yeah,
except for Houck and Condon and Aberdeen. Those are signees. Everybody else came from the transfer portal. And you're going to see about 3 or 4 new guys next year.
Yeah, no, that's the way it's going to work in basketball. You're not going to see guys like we saw back with Patrick Young and Will get and Will can 4-year guys. And it's sad. I like the fact that you can turn it around so fast with the transfer portal, but I do miss that longevity where you really feel you get to know these guys more. But it's a give and take. I think most importantly for fans, they don't care. As long as you win, man, they don't care if you're there 1 year or 4 years.
Right. All right, last thing for you. You wrote a really good article on Jeff Zimmerman, who was part of the Great Wall of Florida. I think a lot of people forget about how good that offensive line was. But man, sad to see. I think him and maybe one other have passed away recently.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had a lot of these lately, Shane, and it got me to think when I was writing this yesterday. I really haven't seen anything. I was looking on stuff, and I saw a Facebook post, and I was looking at mainstream media, and I saw nothing. And I'm like, that's just more or less kind of where the media is. They don't have the people, the resources like they used to kind of remember these people. And so I tried to for on their site, and especially Jeff Zimmerman. I mean, this guy was a stud, a beast, whatever language you want to use in today's vernacular. I mean, he was one of the greatest offensive linemen in Florida football history. The only offensive lineman in school history ever to be named first team All-American twice in back-to-back years. I mean, that's saying something. And he went on to play in the NFL. His NFL career, it was only about 4 years, and then he just kind of disappeared. Wasn't a big wasn't a TV guy, or he stayed low key down in Orlando area. And I think, a lot of fans, certainly from that era, they remember him. A lot of younger fans have never heard of him. So you like to pay tribute to these guys because I think it's important to remember them. And also, we're coming into this era, Shane, where a guy like me, who I grew up mostly in the 80s, probably like you did, that's when you came of age. And that was when all the college football started really getting on TV more and more. So you remember a lot more of these guys because you remember seeing them play. So unfortunately, we're at that stage where we're seeing more of these guys from that era start to pass away. And that's when I really got into the Gators, man. Those mid-'80s teams, they stack up well with any 3, 4, 5-year period in program history. So
yeah, there's no question about that. I wish somehow the school would pay tribute or honor the 84, 85, those teams. I know it was a dark time, or however you want to phrase it, but man, there's a lot of good players on those teams that have a bad taste in their mouth. And I just wish somebody, before more of them pass away, will do something for them at the university. So
yeah, that's it. I know it's a complicated thing with the history there, but I just think we're, time, they say, heals all wounds, and the game has changed so much. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at all the details, but I'm pretty sure nothing was going on that's probably not been going on in other places ever since.
very true. Scott, good stuff as always, my man. We appreciate your time, and we'll get you on, talk a little more spring sports in the next couple of weeks, and maybe I'll see you out at spring ball.
All right, Shane, good seeing you, man. I want to see some of those palm trees in real life right behind you soon.
We'll take a trip. That's Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tip. Hope y'all enjoyed today's program. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.